Cue the music. Let's go. I'm your boy Ro, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. And this is X's and Ro, the video series that takes your questions online and answers them to the best of our ability. First question comes in strong from Nolan at Nationwide is but no. Did you actually see the same positives Manny had in the run D? You know, let's cut over to the film, and as we do so, it's real easy to focus on the negatives, especially in a lopsided loss, but there were some positives, and this is one in the rush D that I think opposing offensive coordinators are going to have to, pay attention to. In this case, Alabama comes out 12 set personnel. There's their one running back in a pistol look. They got two tight ends set here, so your run strike is set heavy to their left side, defense's right side, respectively. So at the top of the screen, you're going to see a true freshman, James Williams. There he is. So he's going to be in a role and capacity known as a free hitter. This offensive line, they're going to attribute for everything that's in the box. And right now they're showing 7. However, you see James Williams, he's creeping further and further down, and he's going to pay dividends because at the snap of the ball, right here, 3rd and 1, they're going to get aggressive. This is an aggressive style run blitz, in my opinion. And you got home on a couple spots. Here you go here at the bottom of the screen, and then there was James Williams to go ahead and wrap that up. So if you're going to be aggressive with your safeties, essentially you left your corners in a man-on-man variety, and on that field side you left cover 0, no safety help. If you're going to get aggressive, you're going to create havoc plays, you're going to get teams in the backfield, including Alabama, on a play like this. It's Aaron Lewis at Aaron SW15. Aaron Balaki. That's from Keenan Peele. That is one of the funniest sketch comedy skits I've ever seen. The Substitute Teacher. If you haven't seen it, A, you live under a rock, and B, you need to check it out because it's hysterical. But Aaron Lewis asks, Lou Hedley is an amazing best punter in America. I think we can agree there. But does him out kicking the coverage worry you at all? Some of those line drive punts get to the return man rather quick. Okay, so here's the deal with Lou Hedley. Lou Hedley is an Australian rugby-style punter, right? So he's going to receive the snap from the long snapper, and a lot of times you're going to see him roll to his right. Now, conversely, NFL-style punters, they stick to that punter pocket, and for them, it's more essential to get that hang time because the higher the punt goes, the more you give your punt coverage team the opportunity to go down there and make a tackle. But you got to realize, it's a formula. The same seconds didn't erase themselves. So as Lou is rolling, instead of the ball being in the air, he's taking and negating that time by his roll. Hopefully that makes sense. So then the line drive punts that come from them, they're difficult to handle. You could force a couple more fumbles. So there's pros and cons. Now, sometimes you'll see a team aggressively try to crash somebody where he rolls to, and then that forces you to kind of adapt. And then you're obliterating that time for your team to get down there. So it's a catch-22. Sometimes it's forced. But pay attention next time as he's rolling. The longer he rolls, the more line drive it can be because it's all about the time. This question comes in from Coach Howie at Smoothness. He asks, were you impressed with Zach McCloud, and do you think we have a third corner besides DJ? So the first question, I'm going to answer it with a detailed video breakdown. The second one is just going to be a quick answer. Deal? All right, let's go to the first part of your question, and that is, how did Zach McCloud do? I thought he played solid. I thought he played good, and you don't have to take my word for it. PFF grades basically graded Zach McCloud as your 5th highest Hurricane. He was credited with 3.5 tackles, including a half tackle for a loss, 4 pressures, and didn't miss a single tackle. So here you are at the bottom of the screen, and something to point out with defensive linemen, they don't always get credit for things that show up on the stat sheet, right? Right here, what is his defensive coordinator, Manny Diaz, asking him to do? Create havoc. You'll see him right here at the onset of the pulling lineman. He's making a beatnik. He is going right into the backfield with one intention, to inflict pain. He's going to go ahead and lean right into that pulling lineman. Not only does he do his job well, he's going to knock that lineman into the other pulling lineman, and there you go. They put him on the ground. That allowed Amari Carter to come in there, wrap up into the backfield. This is how you get some of your tackles for the loss on the day. Swarm tackle, there you go. So, very good job. Even the plays that don't show up in the stat sheet show that Zach McCloud actually played well. Now, second part of your question, do we have another corner option? Man, I hope so. EJolson6 at EJolson6 on Twitter asks, why does it seem like Manny consistently has our DBs in way too soft coverage on third down plays? I get that he's blitzing, but pre-snap, it seemed pretty obvious where the hole was going to be. I love this question, and you're not wrong, but I want to challenge you. Let's wait until the whole play is done because the pre-snap picture doesn't always tell you what the post-snap picture is going to be, and you need both to tell the whole picture. So let's go to the video evidence. Here we go. This is a 3rd and 4. You want to talk about some pre-snap cushion? Here it is. Do you want to see where the obvious hole's going to be, like you said? It's pretty much down at the bottom of the screen. If Bryce Young decides to take a quick perimeter pass, there's a good chance that maybe this goes for a first down, but let's keep going. Pre-snap, that's what it looks like. Watch what happens post-snap. Do you see what happened there? Now we're aggressively playing the flat. We're rotating into what's known as a cloud coverage, and then we're putting 5 defenders at this first down marker. Didn't look like that way pre-snap, but post-snap, it definitely got to that position. And we're in prime position to take that play away. But credit Bryce Young. He understands at this juncture that they're only rushing 3. So he's just going to take his time. He knows he has it. Miami did bring a lot of pressure. They did get to him. Only got credited for 1 sack, but the pressure was there. He doesn't panic. He finds the open read. Everything's covered. At this point, you're hoping for a coverage sack. And even with that said, they just wanted a little more than you. If you can wrap up here, keep him short of the sticks, the coverage did its job. Even with that pre-snap cushion, he just wants it more than you do. It's a first down. Extend the chains. Miami at Canes Run, Florida. That's a nice Twitter handle, and it has a nice ring to it when you say it all together. But how will App State OC Ponce attack Miami's defense? Well, I don't think you have to look any further than the week before when Alabama, I thought they had a concerted effort to go ahead and use a lot of tight formations, okay? In this case, look, you have a bunch set at the top of the screen, 3rd and 6 situation. Miami's going to bring the pressure. I think this is the right read, personally, from Bryce Young. When you see a field side corner with this much cushion up at the top, and then you see the blitz coming from the field side, quick little pass. You know, maybe if he leads this just a little bit more over the top, he's got an easy first down. That's my opinion. And you see the slate crosser coming open, but this is after the fact. Credit to Keontra here because great play, way to wrap it up. This is actually a negative play, goes into the backfield. Great individual play there. Now, let's go over to Ponce and App State. Here you go, tight to the formation. They're going to run something very common to football. It's called sticks. You're basically running to the stick. If he has inside leverage, he's going to take it out. In this case, he had outside leverage. You just find a soft spot in the zone. That's exactly what he did. Tight set, right? And that's what Alabama scored too on that big play over the top, right? They were tight to the formation. Bunch. There you go. And here we go. Bunch tight to the formation. This is the same set look that Alabama had. Different personnel groupings. You didn't have the cheetahs Alabama had, but man, this is some serious beef, and that should be your first clue because right here in a 2nd and 7 situation, this is what it's going to be. Quick pass out to the perimeter. First down. I think they're both going to attack you similar, just from different groupings. 365 Canes Football at 365 Canes Info asks, hey bro, big fan of your work. Thanks for that. More of a personal opinion type question. Who is your favorite player on defense? You know, when I first read that question, it kind of stumped me. I'm like, do I have a favorite player on defense? Usually on X's and O's style questions, like I immediately start working. My brain starts formulating plans. I know what clips I cataloged, and I just go to work. But in this case, I thought about this, and I would have to say Bubba Bolden. I think that iconic imagery of him with the blood on his face and just so spirited, that's like Miami Hurricane culture to me, and I identify with it. Hopefully he regains that form too, because at the beginning of last year, I thought he played possessed. One of the best safety play in the country was my opinion early in the year last year. And I know he just got kicked out of the game for that hit, that targeting call, which should have been targeting 1 and 15-yard penalty. Should have stayed in the game. I didn't think it was malicious. But personal opinion type question, there was a personal opinion type answer. Thanks, I appreciate it. This is going to be the last question of the evening. Should they start Chaney Jr. over Harris? Chaney Jr. is a playmaker. That's coming in from Marco Romero at MATROM on Twitter. You know, great question. Before we get to the answer, however, I'd like to give a shout out to these guys right here. Ed Moore celebrating their 75th year. They are proud supporters of OBB Media Inc., including X's in a Row, which falls under that family umbrella. This is a hot topic, right? On the OBB podcast, we've always coined the phrase Greg-tober, right? This is the time of year when you see those younger options that should have probably been the starter all along. In this case, I think it's time for Don Chaney to be running back one. No offense to Cam Harris, and I still want him to get a healthy amount of reps. The way Rhett Lashley calls plays, he ups the tempos. You can't have a running back on the field constantly, especially when Miami's offense is rolling and staying on the field. But, I like the role, and you have to go back a little bit. Damian Berry, he was a converted safety, and he would come in like the second half of games, especially like during that like South Florida heat, and he would just wear down teams with his physicality. I think Cam Harris could do well in that kind of a role. Keep him fresh, run Don out of the gate early, and then just have another type back that could go ahead and wear on you late. It could be an option. Either way, to answer your question, yes, I do believe Don Chaney Jr. should be running back one.